What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Button Bounces back at F1 2015 career mode, if you like. And I think this is round 8, possibly. We're on to the Austrian Grand Prix now anyway, and it's a track that I'm not too familiar with whatsoever. I started doing the practice for this. You're actually seeing qualified now, and I honest to God couldn't remember ever racing around here before. I'm pretty sure I will have done. I'm quite sure it's not a new track, but nevertheless it didn't seem too complicated of a track. But there was a couple of corners that I was consistently really struggling on. But as you can see, we don't have a terrible start to qualify. We're currently sitting in 7th place, and I would always target top 10. But then we do have a bit of a long straight journey to DRS zone, and as you can see, the positions are just dropping and dropping and dropping. We don't have the straight line speed, as I seem to mention in every single episode. We take this corner pretty poorly, and that's one of the corners that I actually struggle on consistently. Like I say, I always seem to just run wide a tiny bit round there, which is really annoying. Do the corner is coming up in just a second as well. We have this sort of sweeping left, we take that wide, and then we take another sweeping left here, and I always seem to go into the dirt to the right hand side there. I actually take it decent in qualifying, but I always just seem to go off a little bit there. But you can see we're actually somehow, despite having a pretty shoddy lap to run, is sitting in 9th place at the moment. As we come around here, take that awfully as well. And that's actually one of those corners like this one, you want to be turning in pretty quickly, pretty early, to make sure you can take this to good speed. But clearly there I just turned in too early. You can see we actually lose a place pretty much on the line as well, dropping into 10th place. We were in 9th for quite a long time up there, but 10th place on a track I'm not super familiar with. That is still not too bad from the McLaren in my point of view. Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, as always, it seems locking out the front row of the grid. But I will take this chance as well to say, if you are enjoying the series and all that kind of good stuff, it would be amazing if you'd leave a thumbs up on the video. It would be fantastic if we get past 12 once again. And also subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well, for the F1, for the FIFA, all that kind of good stuff. But you can see the full grid, and once again, Fernando Alonso doing terribly for as our teammate, finishing in 18th place in qualifying. I don't know what it is with Alonso, because on the Alonso's Way series that Viper Race is doing, he's Alonso, and Button seems to be like challenging for points. But for me, Alonso is always well off the pace, well off the pace. But you can see the lights are about to go out, we're sitting in 10th place, and we actually get a decent start off the line. Normally we get people flying past us pretty early on with the speed they've got, but Massa starts to pull away a little bit. We managed to take him up the inside, but then there's a small incident between Massa and Raikkonen. We just swoop down the inside all the way up to 5th place. That's probably the best first corner we've had on the entire series so far, thanks to that little incident. And we are all of a sudden on course for our first ever meeting of the objective. And what I mean by that is, once we've qualified, the objective always seems to be 2 or 3 places ahead, and we never ever seem to get it, because we either qualify really well and we can't get any higher. So like, we'll qualify 4th or 5th, and it'll say we've got to come 2nd. And the one time that we did come 2nd was when we qualified on pole, so we didn't meet it then. But this time we actually have, it would seem, a good chance of meeting our objective, and that is 7th place, and we're currently in 5th. So like I said, as long as we can hold tight and drive a sensible race, there's no reason at all why we can't meet that now. But basically, Kimi Raikkonen is that corner there. Again, I run just wide. Like I said, I didn't do it in qualifying, but I seem to do it every other goddamn lap. Raikkonen shoots up the inside, and look at that pace he's got on us there. Absolutely crazy. I was going to go a bit full throttle around that corner, but I had to back up a little bit because of his presence, and that did mean, unfortunately, we did lose the place. We have, however, got a nice little draft in behind him now. We can go into the first corner, and as you're about to see, we dive up the inside, and he actually goes to turn in, then backs out of it a little bit, and that loses him the place. I don't know why he backed out of that. Very unlike Kimi Raikkonen in real life. But yeah, I didn't see there was a reason for him to do that, but I was quite happy that he did. But coming on to further on now in the second lap, and you can see there's a bit of a snake forming behind us. Like I said, not my best track by a long way, this one isn't, but still sitting in 5th place. I was really happy with that. It's Felipe Massa who's actually putting the pressure on us at the moment, and again we run wide there, and that is going to cost us big time, because Massa comes past, followed by Raikkonen, followed by Daniel Ricciardo. We lose 3 goddamn places through that one error. Really annoying, but you know, when you make those kind of mistakes, you're going to get punished. But thankfully we do have a nice little last couple of corners, and we do manage to keep up with Danny Ricciardo, and DRS just gets enabled at the right time for us as well, because we're able to put that on in a second. He doesn't take this corner fantastically. I think it's because Raikkonen in front of him, he had to sort of leave a bit of a gap, so we get a better run out of it. But because he's got the better top speed, he's able to recover it. Gets a bit lucky there, in my opinion. But we will go to dive up the inside again here. We actually get quite lucky not to hit one of those front two there, Raikkonen or Massa. We got really close. Daniel Ricciardo and me now wheel to wheel. We've got the DRS on him. We should be able to pull away. But there again, that pace of the Red Bull is just too much. He pulls away. To be fair, he has also got DRS because of the cars ahead. But we do then manage to dive up the inside on the next corner, and that was Ricciardo done. We'd passed him, he was gone. Was he heck? Still there, still pressuring us, and this happened a couple of times in this race. We had one duel, this one here with Ricciardo, and we have another one later on. I think it was Roman Grosjean that puts us under a lot of pressure. Little bit of contact there with Ricciardo, like I say, really wheel to wheel as we go around these few corners, and that is what you like to see. Nice, close, competitive racing. Ricciardo just about comes out on top, but we will try to make a move down the inside, and this time it will come off. And there's actually a little bit of an incident here. You can see there's a bit of contact there. Didn't seem like anything major, didn't feel it was my fault, but that pretty much killed Ricciardo's race. Very similarly to where we had one with Rosberg in Canada. Not quite as bad as that one in my opinion, because he just sort of came round the outside looking to get in. There was a bit of contact and that just seemed to absolutely kill him, like I say. Don't particularly know what it was, don't think it was particularly my fault. But now you can see the real duel of the race begins. This is only lap 4, we go wide on that corner once again. Grosjean comes past, and for the rest of this race we spend it trying to get past Grosjean, battling back and forth basically, absolutely crazy. He gets past us there, like I say, and he just slowly pull away because we have a couple of bad corners. But what happens is effectively, after a few laps, you can see here this is lap 8 now, we're going to pitting, you can see he's pulled well away now. And we've got Max Verstappen on the right of our backside, but he isn't pitting in, so he goes round us and takes the lead. I believe Grosjean had pitted in at this point, but there's actually a little bit of a disaster here, because as you can see, we're in 10th place. Well, we were in, I think it was 8th or 9th at the time of pitting in, ahead of the likes of Hulkenberg, Nasser, Maldonado, but we get out-pitted by Felipe Nasser here. You can see he just pops out in front of us now, and that is so goddamn annoying. You're trying so hard to defend in the race, not to let people pass, so when they do you in the pits, it is super frustrating. But one thing you can say, when you come out right behind the computer, when they're on cold tyres, they do seem to be so tentative. It's pretty crazy, and you're able to get them pretty easily. You can see we come out of the pits in 14th place, so we drop back a couple of places obviously, but there are people that are still yet to pit on different strategies. We try a very bold manoeuvre there. Goes horribly wrong, to be honest. We go super wide. We were lucky not to come into contact with Nasser, to be honest. I mean, do get a warning for, was it for the corner cutting or the collision? I'm not quite sure if we quite touched him there, but we do go for another one straight away. Thankfully it didn't punish us too much, and we were able to go in for the next corner. And again, similarly to the Raikkonen incident a few laps prior, he just backed out and let us pass. It was really simple. I'm going to jump forward now all the way to lap 11, and you can see Grosjean is just there in the distance. We're 2.2 seconds behind him, and there's around 6 laps left to go at this stage, and we're going to jump forward now again all the way to lap 14 here, and you can see we slowly caught him, we were reeling him in, and this is where we end up having like a 4-lap duel basically. I'll get past him on the inside here, nice and easy. We had the DRS, take the corner reasonably well, but it was a weird one because Grosjean just had that little bit more pace than us, as most people seem to have in the top 10 really usually, but it just turned into a fantastic wheel-to-wheel race this did now. He comes looking down the inside again. There's a little bit of contact again. We try to hold a tight outside line. We end up running a tad... Oh, no, we don't. Yeah, we do. We go a tiny bit wide there. He falls behind. And then we jump forward to lap 17. You can see he's still right behind us. And we're going to actually watch the full last sector of this lap and the whole of lap 18 as well now. So you can see just how close it is. Again, a little bit of contact from Grosjean on us. Very aggressive from him. And that happened 2 or 3 times in the race. I'm trying to defend the line. I mean, it's not major contact, it doesn't cost anyone massive amounts of time, but it could cause a punch, that kind of stuff, so I was very wary, and I was very nervous going into the last lap that something was going to get horribly wrong, and it was going to be like some huge incident, and cost us, like, the race, basically, and we'd finish with no points, but we actually have a little gap to Grosjean at this point now. I was thinking we'd be able to manage it nicely, but because of this DRS zone, I mean, you can see from lap straight, if I look behind me in a second, he's right behind us, and then again, he's got the DRS, and he just flies past us again here. Not a lot we can do. We do come over a little bit to try and defend, but he has none of it. He just comes straight round. I tried to just make it a little bit more difficult for him, but still cruise past very easily. You can see there as well Nico Rosberg crossing the line for the checkered flag, taking the victory, and he needs to be getting the victory, to be honest, because Hamilton is running away with the title at the moment. But again, similarly to the Ricciardo duel that we had earlier, absolute wheel-to-wheel action with Grosjean. There's a tiny bit of contact there. We actually take this corner terribly because I was so concerned about defending that inside line. I turned in far too early. Kind of got lucky that it didn't slow me down too much, but you can still see he has got an absolutely huge run on us coming into the last 2 corners. Will we be able to hold him off? We take a very quick line. Got quite lucky there, ran a bit wide. Take that last corner a bit slower than I'd like, and you can see he's actually gunning for us at this point. It's super close. Thankfully we crossed the line there, because if the checkered flag would be where the lights were, he would have beaten us, and at the time I actually thought we'd drop back to 8th, but the start finish is slightly before that, so thankfully we managed to hold off and get our objective for the first time in the entire series. You can see the gap is minimal. We were 42.219 behind the leader, and Grosjean was 42.297, so super close race, but we do get some more points on the board for Jenson and McLaren, and for the first time we do meet our objective, which is absolutely fantastic. And the exciting thing is as well, the next race on the F1 calendar is Silverstone, so the home Grand Prix for Jenson Button. Hopefully we'll be able to get a really good result there for him and for the team McLaren, who of course are British. You can see Alonso came all the way down in 18th, again not doing anything at all for us unfortunately, and you think we'll be comfortably ahead of him in the driver's standings now, because he just seems to be absolutely awful this year for us. But nevertheless, like I said before, if you enjoyed the video, it'd be fantastic if you leave a like on it and subscribe if you're new around here, and I will speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Nidge out.
Pineda has drifted into space. Martin's making a run. Gets in there. What an effort! What a goal!